Hi there, I hope you're all doing well. This week I get Jenika painted up. She is one of the heroes from the TMNT expansion for Zombicide White Death. I primed her black and I get started with Charred brown, basically adding all of the padded armor and the cloth over her head. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been hobbying on, or just hang out and chat. I hope you enjoy the video and find it useful. Starting to separate out all of the base coated parts, I mixed some pale sand into that charred brown. I then began bringing up all of the raised and larger flat areas on the cloth over her head. There isn't much in a jump of contrast on this step, just enough to see the difference and establish some shadows. Now that I've established the midtone, I can go and get the highlight started by mixing in some more pale sand, going around the edges and the tops of the folds. Because this is the start of the highlights, the contrast job is a bit more noticeable, as this is where the light will be hitting. To finish off the highlights, I mixed in a little more pale sand and just touched up the very tops of the folds around the edges with a scratchy pattern. One of the other parts I base coated was the wooden parts. These will get a quick midtone of Ancient Forest. I then add a highlight with some Ancient Forest and pale sands, going around the sharper edges facing towards the top of the mini. Before I get onto the armor, I want to have the skin finish. So to start that off, I base coat it with olive green. There is less skin than I originally thought, but I still take my time on this one as I don't want to get any on the already painted parts. After the olive green has dried, I moved on to the midtone using golden olive. I cover a good chunk of the visible skin again, I just leave that darker tone in the recesses and the shadowed parts. To finish off the skin, I bring up the sharper edges around the face and the hands with some golden olive and pale sands mixed together. The next step is some British khaki over the panels on the armor, her eye mask and the gold trim on the metal parts. While these parts are supposed to be metal, I'm not going to paint them as non-metallic metal. They are just too small of an area to really make a difference, so highlighting them up as normal will look just fine. For the next step up, I go around using golden brown, bringing up all of the areas that will be in the light, just leaving that khaki in the shadows and the areas facing downwards. These are then finished off with some volcanic yellow around the edges and some of the panels that are facing directly upwards. Since this is a yellow, it does look rather bright going on, but we'll dull back down a little once it dries, just to look a bit more of a natural highlight. To finish off the armor, there is some bright trim around it. This all gets done with pale sands, which is very bright compared to the artwork, but it covers over the base coat really well. Now that I have that nice bright trim, I'm going to knock it back down and darken all of the painted clothing with a wash of Archaic Sepia wash. The padded armor gets a second coat of this as well, just to darken those panels down a little bit extra. Where the wash darkened everything down, I went a little bit too hard on the bright trim and I don't like how it came out. So I went around with pale sands again, thinned down to not cover fully this time. I just leave that darker tone in the shadows, but all of the areas that are in the light are brought up again. The remaining clothing parts now get a mid-tone of deep grey. I use the black prime as the base coat for these parts just to make my life a bit easier. Since these parts are supposed to be dark and are just the underlayer essentially, I only add a single highlight onto these using medium sea grey just to top the folds. Finishing up the mini, there are some metal parts that get a quick once over with plate armor. And that will be it for Jenika. I do like how she came out in the end, however I'm not too sure about the armor. I think I would do it differently if I was to paint her again, but I'm sure somewhere in the White Death box there will be another mini with this armor type. So on them I'm going to try it a different way and see how it turns out. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You can also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been hobbying on, or just hang out and chat. For those of you who want to pick up Zombicide or just some painter supplies, there are affiliate links in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, don't forget to drop the like and subscribe for more content. Most importantly though, be kind to each other.